so much, Dr. LaDuff, for that warm introduction, and thank you to the College of Business and Dr. Sherry for the invitation. And I'd also like to thank the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the Links Incorporated for their warm welcome to me to Florida. You may think that it's very cool outside today, and this is the first time in spring that I've been able to be without tights, coats, hats, and the like. So I even got a chance to walk on the beach on yesterday, and all of my friends in Minnesota are so very jealous. And I'm just so thankful that I've been able to be here to be your closing speaker. And just hearing all of the powerful women today give you these nuggets and these pearls of wisdom. My closing remarks reminds me of a Swahili term known as Harambe. And what it is a coming together. And so what I'm going to offer today is just a coming together of all of the powerful inspiration that these women have given you today. So when I was 16 years old, my parents came in and said, "We have to talk to you." And if OMG was like really hot back then, that's what I was thinking in my head. OMG, what are these folks going to tell me? Are they getting a divorce? And so what they told me was, "We're expecting." I said, "Expecting what?" "We're expecting a baby." And I said, in my head at the time, OMG, what are they doing? Why are they starting over again? Don't they know that I'm going to college? And so it was just so wonderful to have this baby in the house as I did my senior year in high school, and then all of my academic training was away. And we didn't do any of the bio simply because of the time constraints, but I did most of my education away and then came back to take the job at home at Louisiana State University, which was very near my home. So during my academic career, I would stay connected to this sweet little younger brother that I had through letters and cards and just trinkets in the mail. And so when I got home to LSU, all of that sort of went away because I was home. You know, I was able to meet him at school for lunch and go to his musical concerts and go to dinner at home. And one day he just came with a very sad face and he's like, "You know those letters you used to write?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, what happened? Why did you stop mailing me all of that fun stuff?" I said, "Well, Phil, I'm here in the flesh, so, I'm here." And he said, all of that really mattered, right? All of that really mattered. So I tell you this story because as a discussion point for your career advancement, it matters. It matters that you take time like today to be thoughtful about your plan of action for climbing the ladder. It really matters that you take time to be thoughtful about your careers and apply some of these power principles that the panelists and the keynote speakers have given you today. So I just want to close today with some of the transformational power and pearls, game changers that I have learned along the way. Game changer pearl number one, know your leadership style. You're going to be asked this question as you climb the ladder in terms of your personal experience. What is your brand? What do you stand for? What are your values? What type of leader are you going to be with handling promoting a pathway to progress? Are you a principle-based leader? MLK said it's always the right time to do the right thing. So you have to have ethics and you have to have character and integrity. Are you going to adopt a purpose-driven leadership style, one who realizes that what you're doing is so much greater than yourself? Marion Wright Edelman said that service is the rent that we pay for living. So what is your purpose here? Are you going to be a transformational-based leader? Wayne Gretzky's dad always talked about his son saying, "A good hockey player skates to where the puck is. A great hockey player skates to where the puck is going to be." In our contemporary lives right now as students and in our careers, we're mainly running around with our hair on fire, right? Trying to manage the day. But a great transformational leader is always thinking 5, 7, 10 years out. What are the new changes that are going to be occurring? Game changer pearl number 2, understand that there is no room for error and excellence is the only option. President Benz told us about this in her opening remarks. You have to strive for the gold standard at every level to achieve the next level. Strive for the gold standard now. Work until you understand that you're being seen as having the job promotion opportunity. Your work has to be flawless. You have to have the credentials for the next level. Do you need to go back and get additional certifications or additional degrees in order to be seen, as that thought leader? It really is about service and taking the opportunities as they talked about on committees, raising your hands for things that you're scared to do or that you're not that knowledgeable in. You have to write. Part of the biography suggests that I have 2 edited volumes, one on Trayvon Martin and one on racial battle fatigue in higher ed. Those 2 volumes were being written when I was transitioning from LSU to the University of Minnesota. How crazy was I? Trying to change jobs, but at the same time, write these 2 volumes. But these volumes make me a national speaker and a national voice on race in the U.S. And so I'm always sort of the go-to person. People want to be with winners. And the way in which you win is that you are able to be an authoritative voice in your area. It's really hard, but you can start by tweeting very interesting things, writing on blogs, writing e-zines. So it doesn't have to be the academic route that I took in terms of writing these 2 volumes. It's about being an authoritative voice. Game changer pearl number 3, you have to chart your own course sometimes. Stop waiting for someone to give it to you. And stop waiting for things to happen. When I was at Xavier University, one of my favorite suite mates was from the Cameroons. And her mother, in this Cameroonian accent, would always come and give us these, interesting quotes. And she said to me one day, Katrice, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. You have to chart your own course. We're all running around doing the best that we can, and as women leaders, we have an ethos of care. The ethos of care is about others, and we oftentimes never really take time to be worried about ourselves. Soon after graduating from Xavier, I borrowed my grandmother's car, and I drove to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I started applying and interviewing for graduate assistantships at the University of Southern Miss. And I applied and interviewed for these assistantships because I knew that eventually they would get around to admitting me to the master's program. So I accepted a graduate assistantship prior to getting admitted to the graduate program. So many of you with graduate degrees, that's not the right order. But the tenacity in me said, eventually they'll get around to admitting me to the program, and I want to be able to have this degree paid. That's the initiative that I'm talking about in terms of making sure that you chart your own course. At Auburn, I created my own practicum experiences so that I was able to get counseling experiences with people of color. So I made those practica experiences happen because I didn't just want to be a psychologist in the traditional sense. I wanted to have culturally relevant experience. So I made these practica happen because, just in the counseling center or at the VA, I didn't see that I would get that culturally relevant experience that was necessary. That's the tenacity and the initiative in which I'm talking about. At LSU, I was promoted 4 times in 5 years, and I became the youngest vice provost in the history of the institution. I'm not saying that to be braggadocious. I'm saying that to say I was working above the pay grade. So people saw that with this dogged work ethic that I was ready. And I love the comment about fear and excitement, and they feel the same. Because throughout my career, it has always been, I'm so scared to take this new job. But the excitement but I think that I'm ready and I can prove myself is something that you should really, really be thoughtful about. Game-changing pearl number 4, Leaders understand the power of gratitude and that they give back by mentoring and supporting others. Mary McLeod Bethune says, we have to lift as we climb, right? We have to lift as we climb. Carol talked about this. You have to be both. You have to mentor others and you have to be mentored. Part of being your very best self involves lifting others. We get nowhere alone, and we know that for sure. Somebody did it for you. Somebody did it for me. We have to do it for the hard-headed ones, and I have to admit I was one of the hard-headed ones. I have to admit I'm still one of the hard-headed ones, but the mentors help you decipher, the good and golden opportunities that you should be thoughtful about. It really is when you work and study and you are able to advance, you have to make sure you're looking behind, that others are really following behind you, because your intellectual capital is really about the ability to raise the brain power of everyone else. And you have to nurture and be nurtured by all sorts of leaders. And the diversity czar in me would say to you, you have to be willing to mentor others who are not your mirror images, because we gain so much when we are in these cross-cultural relationships. So it is about being mentored by men. It is being mentored by people of color. It is mentoring in cross-cultural ways. Game-changing pearl number 5, leaders create career maps. You have to write the plan. I think that the panelists right before us talked about that. Now, the best plans can be imploded because some golden opportunity presents itself and you don't have a choice but to take it. But writing a career map is really writing a life plan of where you see yourself in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, and beyond. You have to write it down. I think Kimberly talked about a visioning board. So if you're more visual in that way, I encourage you, write that plan down. You have to be thoughtful. Even when I was offered the job at Minnesota, South Louisiana girls saying, why are they calling me? I'm not gonna be able to do this job in the bitter cold. My own move to the upper Midwest was the next best thing. University of Minnesota is a top 25 institution. It had the largest budget for equity and diversity in the country. I didn't know that. President Kaler, my president at Minnesota, asked me to take the job multiple times, and I turned it down multiple times. I think it was part of it was fear, and part of it was I still had work to do at LSU, and how would I give up football? How would I give up food? How would I give up my family? And I had to say to myself, be thoughtful about that career map that you created, all those years ago at Bryn Mawr. When I pulled that career map out, 2013 I had told myself, it was going to be the next best thing. I would have done all that I could do at LSU, and it was time for the next hurdle. So it is about moving out of your comfort zone. And many of you know Jill Scott. She's going to play me in my biopic when it's made. She said, you have to live your life like it's golden. And it is a part of that fear and excitement. So I really do suggest to you, write a plan. It is your personal brand. It is about making a personal advisory board of mentors, but it is also about mentoring those who see you as, you are where they want to be. So it's about that being both and. Game-changing pearl number 6, leaders are effective communicators. Carol talked about this in her keynote. If you don't take anything else from my closing remarks, you have to master public speaking, even if your knees shake and your voice trembles. You've got to master technical writing. Public speaking and technical writing, the 2 top ways in which we communicate. You have to be able to inspire your goals and have others join the mission and your passion that you have in the workplace. If you look behind you and no one is following you, you're just taking a walk, like that walk that I took on the beach, right? This is not leadership. So you have to be a good listener, an active listener, to hear the folks that you are trying to inspire. And you have to share that vision in the verbal space and in the written space. So game changer pearl number 6 is really the one. Leaders have to be effective communicators. Game changing pearl number 7, leaders keep their sense of humor. So a little bit about me, my laugh precedes me. If I started laughing downstairs, even though these walls are pretty thick, you'd hear me. It's really important that you keep your sense of humor throughout your career experience, because they're going to be such hard days sometimes. I do very difficult work. I'm not going to say that my work is the only difficult work in higher education, but diversity work is hard because it's divisive. It's a divisive topic. And so I feel like humor is very disarming when I can connect with people who are not really interested in hearing me say, but we all deserve a place at the table. We all deserve access to opportunity. We all deserve affordable higher education. It's not always an easy sell, but I do believe that humor can help balance, some of these very tough topics. And again, the leadership journey will not be easy. You're gonna have setbacks. But I think if you're able to have that girlfriend time and really laugh over the chocolate or while you're tweeting or while you're working out together, or, which they didn't talk about, wine. Lots and lots of wine. You can keep the humor and you can really bounce these ideas off of one another. The final game-changing pearl that I have for you today is live the notion to thy own self be true. This is the authentic living. The panel was able to give you fun facts about themselves. It is simply living in an authentic way. You have to work through all of your issues, though, to get there. You have to sort out, for someone like me in higher education, the racial battle fatigue that I feel most days. What is it about standards of beauty, especially in women, that we don't fit the mold, right? What is it about the resentment that we may have based on family issues or politics in the office? What is it about our relationships to overspending because we do shopping therapy? What is it about the toughness about being vulnerable and having a level of humility to say, I was wrong, right? All these type A's in the room, that's hard to do. What is it about not being afraid to seek professional help when we think that we need it, to really be able to talk with someone? I figured out a long time ago, it is very important to enjoy your life while you're trying to chase leadership. So I'm a big women's basketball fan. That's how I release my stress. I've been to the last 11 Final Fours because women's basketball is the purest form of the game. Not that aerial kind of slam dunk one-on-one that the boys do. Not that that's not good, guys, but the pure form of the game, the way it was written, is women's basketball. I love to travel. I started a travel club with women my age who would like to really see the world prior to retirement. And I told them 2 things. I don't eat cheap and I don't sleep cheap. So what we're going to do is we're going to enjoy travel. I love tulips and I love pink roses, and the ladies of AKA helped me with one of those flowers. So fresh flowers are always a part of my household and my workplace. I love Frankie Beverly and Maze. It is a group that has not made a studio album since 1978. They sing the same songs, and I travel all across the country just to hear them sing those same songs over and over again. And my partner Brandon is like, we're not going to another Maze concert. Please tell me we're not. What I'm saying to you is learn the things that you love and indulge in them, because the leadership piece will come if you're doing all of these game-changing pearls and the nuggets that all of these women have given you today, but you've got to figure out what keeps you going. The last and final piece is the way in which you juggle the many roles and the way in which you help yourself not be so overwhelmed is you incorporate a practice of radical self-care. So many women that have gone before us are finding themselves digging a very early grave because they're trying to climb this ladder and not doing all of these things that you've heard today. It's about taking care of yourself. And earlier I talked to some students and I told them they have a contemporary philosopher who in a rap song says, "Turn down for what?" Some of y'all may know that, right? And my argument is you have to turn down. You have to have that radical self-care. You've got to do the meditation. You've got to do the mindful eating and the conscious movement and liberate yourself emotionally. I got myself, when I was leading up to a milestone birthday, I lost about 97 pounds, right? Because I was in radical self-care. I took the job at University of Minnesota and 40 of them found me. I said, this is not good. This is not good. So I got myself a Fitbit. I took up the Bikram yoga, which is the hot yoga where you're in 120 degrees. I said, I have this. I'm from South Louisiana. I need this heat. The radical self-care is about what you are doing to make sure that you can stay the course of your leadership experience. You have to do the things that help you stay in balance because you're really, some of you will be the trailblazers and the guiding lights in your area. And really and truly, it is a surefire way to be able to really make the most of your career and enjoy your life. So what I'm suggesting to you is that we are always in choice about our habits, and we all want leadership in our careers. And I hope that some of the game-changing pearls that I've offered for you today is really about Harambe. Getting our arms around all the wonderful things that these powerful women have offered you today. I want to really say that the leadership journey is one that is your life map, right? And you have to make every day the best day for, as my sweet brother told me, it matters. Good afternoon. Have a wonderful experience for the rest of the afternoon. And thank you so much for your time.